Yo, my peoples, what's up? Welcome to the One Stop Co-op Shop. Jason here. Today I have a solo playthrough for Mercurial. This one is a competitive game for 1 to 4 players in which you are playing wizards, gathering strength and power, and that's about where the theme ends. Really, this is a conversions game. A simple version would be like a Splendor going up to a Century Spice Road, but a little bit more here. You have your starting resources represented by these dice. They'll generate some elements. Over the course of your turns, you're going to be playing cards, acquiring more cards, gathering your spells into a set. Ultimately, you're going to cast that spell, generate a whole bunch of resources, and claim these scoring cards. You're here for the conversions and the manipulations of your resources. In the solo mode, the timer is this deck running out. The cards are going to be flowing river style. Once this deck runs out, we calculate our high score and see if you can match the score of the best wizards in the land. So let's jump right into an overview and then a full solo playthrough for Mercurial after these channel announcements. We are the One Stop Co-op Shop, a multi-platform gaming empire, and your one stop for solo and cooperative gaming goodness. All right, so let's get started with an overview. Here is the personal area. This is my mage, the Arcanist, and you have some choices here in the base box. I imagine there's a few more in any expansion. This is the key thing. I have 5 dice that I start with. That's what that number says in multiplayer and in solo. So every time I load up in order to start casting my magic, I roll those dice and then I have to manipulate from there, mostly through this card play. So I have some initial cards and I'll draft more as the game goes on. Also filling in, I'm able to sometimes substitute the power of my dice with these mana crystals. Those come back. I play them and come back. Hopefully I can grow that along the way. These are acuity crystals, easier to come by, but they are discardable. There's also a bunch of symbology down here that I'll get into as I go through the play. There's just a lot of symbols. And really, most of those I'm going to discuss as we get into the playthrough. Just know for now that this stuff and this stuff, what you're going to be fiddling with as the game goes on. Here are the roll of gold cards in multiplayer and solo. You start with 6. As you can see, there are some rewards on here when I achieve them. The solo is a little bit more generous for various reasons, but when I achieve a gold card, I get to take stuff for myself. How do I achieve those gold cards? By generating one of these 2 resources. So I can either generate Ruin or Restore. Ruin thematically being the destructive forces and nature of restoring itself with this side. It doesn't really matter. It's just 2 different kinds of energy. And then I would score that set of points when I acquired the card. How I generate that energy are my spells. So that's where the dice come in. So if I wanted to take this spell, I would use my die, which is nice. And if I check that out, only a die could be used in order to pay for this part. So then I would use that. Here, I would be able to use either a die or 2 mana crystals. The game calls that the flex spot. So if I did that, then for my one action that I took the card, then I would kind of have that here. I would build a set of cards depending on what I was working on. So if I wanted a lot of Restore, then I would stack up different cards that have Restore. Don't have that right now, but more are going to come out as the cards flow. If I were to take this card, that will be mostly a terrible thing because these cancel out. So if I had Ruin and Restore in the same row, then they would cancel each other out. So this would say, this would be Ruin equals 1. If I activated something, then it would be a little bit more. But let's say it generated 2 Ruin with this 4 Restore. I would have 2 Restore total. That's not how to play the game. With one glaring exception, and that is this equilibrium board. If I'm able to generate exactly the same amount of Ruin and Restore, then I'm able to convert it into this element called Mist. I think it's called Mist. and generate all sorts of good resources out of there, some extra stuff for myself, and also get this tile, the Mist Stone, which is a one-shot. We don't have to worry about that. Just know that generally you want to build up either your Ruin or your Restore, or try to go for an even number, which will get you a little bit of a better conversion because it's harder to get. There's also a few spells that let you convert Ruin to Restore and vice versa, so you're not out of options. As we are building up our resources to get these gold cards, another thing to keep in mind are these Arcana tiles. These are a lot like the Noble tiles in Splendor, just another thing to look out for as you build your sets. So for example, if I build a set of 4, which is a little bit difficult, then I would acquire this tile and then score points depending on how many cards I had. Or if I built a spell combo of Water, Lightning, and Mountain, I would get this Arcana tile for extra points there. Lots of things to think about as you build your combos. All right, so we are going to learn by doing. Going to play a couple of rounds. Hopefully after that, so a lot of the symbology and the overall flow will emerge for y'all. All right, so we are going to roll first. I got lots of fire, a lightning, and a mountain. Now, I do not re-roll these until I cast a spell, which is going to take a little bit of build-up. I can manipulate them, but keep these where they are after they're rolled initially. So the game is basically telling me, go for that. Which is going to happen, but I just want to talk through some of the stuff of a turn first. So in a normal turn, most of the time, you're going to do 2 actions. You're going to take a card and play a card out of your hand. So take a card could be either one of these 2, which is out of the alteration row, or one of the spells. The alteration cards are free to take. So if I wanted to, I could take this alteration card for free and then play it. Usually the alterations are going to have some sort of conversion going on. I'll show that in a little bit. Don't need to show it now because I just have this. So, and I could just take and then play out of my hand. I can flip those 2 as necessary. So let's go ahead and take this card. However, I am not going to use all 3 of my dice. A lot of the cards have slots that are dice only. So if I use all 3 of these dice, I'd kind of be locking myself into something. So let's go ahead and mix that up just a little bit. We are going to take the card and we are going to use 2 of the die, but we are also going to use 1 mana. And just to articulate the point, 2 acuity is also 1 mana. This mana is going to come back when I cast a spell, and the 2 acuity will go away. What is casting a spell? Casting a spell is you forego that take and that play, and that is your whole turn. Whatever you have collected in the row, you would discard everything off of it, generate the resource, and get the heroic card. But we're not ready for that quite yet. I can now play a card, and since I didn't take an alteration card, I just have my starters. This is an artifact card that got drawn randomly. There's 9, kind of mixing up the powers a little bit. These 2 are going to be the same across plays. They're basic starter cards. So this card, this is a class card. I get to spend a certain amount of acuity, +1, and then I would be able to turn, if I had rolled this poopy symbol on the die, which is the void symbol. Void is always poopy. I did not roll that, so I have to worry about it. But if I did, I could make some conversions and turn them into dice that I want. There's also some multi-use aspects of the cards down here, mostly to generate acuity or cycle things in the central row. Don't have to worry about any of that right now. Instead, I'm just going to use this dinky starter card in order to take 1 acuity, which I can place there, and that is the end of my turn. And then we have the second part of every solo turn. Let's go ahead and move everything over. Every round, we're going to see 1 new alteration card and 1 new spell. So as you can see, this deck of alteration cards is a lot thinner than this one. This will run out, so make sure you have at least a couple of these drafted into your hand so you can do what you need to do. This is your timer. Every single round, we're going to get at least 1 new spell. So make sure you get what you got going on before this runs out. The game says that 60 is an acceptable score. Let's go for better than that. All right, so now a plan is starting to form for me, guided by this tile over here. So I would be able to claim this tile if I build a row of 4 spell cards. The way you build the 4 spell cards is to spread out your dice and get the nice low areas over here. In addition, the Arcanist's class power, one of them, is that they always have credit for what they call this Aether die. This card right here is an Aether boostable card. I don't know if that's a real term. What it means is that if I have an Aether anywhere in my pool, whether I'm using it or not, then I would be able to get the higher value. But the Arcanist always counts as having the higher value. So whenever I see these cards, I'm incentivized to go for it. So let's try to do multiple things at once, which is the key to this game. I have my eye on that card and that card. They're not going to get discarded for a couple of turns. I still have this die, which is kind of sitting around like a sore thumb. So let's go ahead and take this card. So this is going to be my take action. This will be a mountain, and it will turn it into a water. So kind of input, output when I play it. Or I could flip it. So then this, whenever that's here, that's an or. So then I would be able to flip it to a lightning side. So let's say a lightning comes up. Or I want to deal with it that way, then I could just use this card and deal with this sore thumb of a die. So we're actually going to skip my play for the turn because I can. My roll was decent enough. The cards came together, so that's not a problem. All right, so I got a whole new alteration, and now I push these cards along. You may have been asking what these two tokens are for. The cards in the left-hand area get a discount. They're spell cards anyway, so this would be 1 mana discount and 1 acuity discount. Maybe I can plan things such that I can save a little bit. I'm not too worried about it, but it is another thing to think about. Let's see if I get some good alteration. Not sure if it's good yet. And another ruin, another lightning. Too many slots, but it is definitely a possibility to go for. All right, I think I can get this on the discount next turn. So let's go ahead and take this one. We're going to go for it. We're going to go for the 4 cards. So I have this fire. That fire is going to go there. And I got 2 mana crystals for that. So that's going to generate 2 more ruin when I eventually cast my spell. Still don't know what I'm doing with the impetus, so I'm holding back my plays. So let's go ahead and take that card. Oh, wow, this doesn't actually require any dice. Oh, do I have enough going on my board to get all that stuff together? That's interesting. So let's go ahead and slide all of this over. I'm not going to show this every single time because it is cumbersome, but just for the initial play, I just want to show people the rhythm. So the last is a restore spell. So this will be nice to think about next turn if I'm going to go with this lots of card strat as opposed to kind of a few bigger cards. So you hold off over there. Oh, and you're a boosted card? Oh, I got to think about you for next time. It's the beginning of the game. I don't have a lot of juice to be ambitious. Let's just go ahead and get these 2 cards going. I think I'm going to wait for this to pass 1 and get the mana discount next time. So let's just go ahead and grab this one. But first, we're going to play a card. We are going to play this one, which will convert a mountain. Actually, no, wait, we're not going to do that. We're going to do the or. We're going to flip that die. So that card is played, this die is flipped, and all the die are the same, and the elements are all opposite, so I know exactly what's on the other side. All lightning. So let's go ahead and spend 1 mana, 2 acuity, and this die to place that card over here and get myself that much closer to a spell. So from here on in, I'm going to be a little bit inconsistent with showing the river, but this is something that I did want to show people. So these cards get discarded, so they are out of the game. You're wondering what happens when they fall off the river? Well, they fall off the earth. So we are going to slide everything over and get 2 more cards. Ooh, all right, let's do that. We'll keep that in mind for next time. All right, we have this lovely card, which I've been looking at the entire time, that boost card, which is going to be worth 2 per card in the row. So let's spend that last die and basically all of my other stuff. But I did get the mana discount, which is 1 off, so I only have to spend 2 crystals as opposed to the 4. I'd have the 4 to spend anyway, which is why I waited here. So that was the take action. I have been waiting for this. So this is the play. So we have this number of cards, which is the prerequisite in my spells. Then I get to take that number of crystals. The question marks match. So this is a artifact card. Like I said, every play is going to be different. There's 9 of these things. They're a little bit more powerful. So 4 cards equals 4 acuity crystals, which is actually really, really powerful. Fantastic. So then we slide these right along. We get a new spell, a Ruin spell, which is not matching up with what I have in mind next. But these cards are going to fall off. I didn't miss that high slot adventure over there. So we're just going to slide all of these right along. More Restore. So the game is kind of bouncing back and forth right now between Ruin and Restore. And so let's cast a spell. So everything gets removed. These Acuity go away and get discarded. These mana, my little 4 mana that I started with, go back to my player mat to be used again in another spell sequence. These dice are going to get removed and re-rolled when I am done with everything. Now let's add up what I got going. So we have 8 on this one, 2 per spell in here. So that's 8, 1 per spell. That is 4, making 12, 14, 19 total Ruin. Not bad at all. Now I have some options over here. So I could take this 11 and get that nice die and 2 Acuity. So then 19 minus 11 is 8. So then for every 3 overflow, I would get another victory point. So that is just a nice little bonus when it comes to the victory point. So this would be worth 5, 6, 7, and then moving on. That's not the greatest conversion in the world because, as you can see, because I can pay for the 19, I get this for 18, and that's just 10 points. So just straight up, this is a better card. Or if I wanted to, I can get this card if I was preferring the blue crystals, which is a good option. But the extra point, a die, let's just go ahead and take that. I get 2 Acuity. I now have 6 dice, and I have a first heroic card. I then discard all of my spells, but I do keep them because they do matter for scoring. What scoring, you ask? Arcana tile scoring. I qualified for this, and now I'm going to get some points for every 4 spells that I have. So I now have my direction for the game set. This I keep face up because of these sigils. You probably noticed floating around on my character board, I have a sigil over here, and also on my card, I got this sigil. What does that mean? So now that we're through a round, I can tell you. So the sigils mean I get to do extra stuff depending on the card that I play. So if this card had a second purple sigil, then I would be able to do the advanced action on this card, which in the particular case, normally it would just be an input-output thing. This lets me do either one so that I could convert, if I had 2 sigils, convert water to mountain and vice versa. Don't have that, but there's other cards out there that get extra acuity or extra action economy. Having sigils is good, so having 2 sigils on my first heroic card, kind of a no-brainer. So then we get another card, a dinky one. Although I like the dinky ones every once in a while. So we're just going to put 3 acuity on there. Nothing got taken, but we still discard these cards, and the flow of the river continues. Everything slides down. We get new cards to fill in. And that is 1 full cycle of Mercurial. Hopefully, at this point, you know enough to kind of get the flow of the game. So now, let's go for the rest of the playthrough. One thing to note, this little Mishigash over here, that symbol means when you cast a spell. So if I had dice left over, so let's say I had a fire or a lightning, I could have turned that into a ruin. Same thing with 4 of the acuities, and then the opposite elements would turn into restore. That's nice if you are 1 or 2 away from balance or 1 or 2 away from earning a goal. Generally, though, you want to use as many of your dice as possible on the spells. All right, new round. I am reloaded as part of that whole Mishigash. I don't know if I said that explicitly. I do get to draw my cards back. So that is a take action. So instead of taking from the central tableau, whatever I have discarded, I can take back into my hand. You don't want to do that too often. You get the free take back when you cast a spell, so try to do that as much as possible. All right, next up, I got to roll the dice. I got 6 of them, 1 off the card. I want at least 1 water. And these Aether and Void symbols are flexible for me. So let's see if I get at least the 1 water and some other useful stuff. I didn't get any water. So that's really poop. If I had gotten some water, I'd be able to go bang, bang, and get that knocked out. But I'm kind of glad it happened just from a strategic perspective, showing the game. This is how you recover from that kind of thing and turn a not a great situation into something better. Okay, so looked like I got to get to work. First things first, we are going to take this alteration card, which is turns fire into mountain, and we're going to use it immediately. Turning this fire into a mountain. Let's see what I can do with that. And unfortunately, these two cards get discarded. Womp womp. I really was looking forward to getting that going. Let's see if I can make a plan B happen. All right, so here's the big move. So I'm going to spend one of my acuity to spend more of my acuity, which in this case is 5 total. So I have 4 dice, which are either Aether or Void. This is special to this character. Most of the time it's only Void, but this one can manipulate Aether as well. Rolled lots of Aether, we're taking advantage. So let's go ahead and discard 1 and discard 4. Oh man, that hurts so much. But it hurts so good. So let's go ahead and turn all of these into mountain. So I can't turn them into anything I want. I have to have the element in first. So I couldn't just turn it to water, which is what I really want. I have to get a little bit creative, but that is the point of the game. Mutz, futz, futz, futz. And with all that mountain, we're going to set these two aside, and we're going to get this delicious card. Remember, with my Arcanist, they're always boosted. This is a link card, so whatever card I link this to is going to get multiplied by 3, which is, oh, sweet. So we got 1, 2, 3 over there, and 2 of my mana crystals. So these are the 2 cards I lose, and I'm about to lose that one, which hopefully I can kind of save that one, Hail Mary style. All right, so next round, remember this, grabbed this one a little while ago, gonna convert all, that's the infinity symbol, of my mountain into water. So that is 1, 2. Now, if this were water, I could grab these both and just be really, really happy. Well, like I said, you got to make do with what you got. So I'm going to let that one fly, which makes me really sad, but I need to triple the best thing out here possible, which is this. That would just, these 2 cards alone will give me 24 restore, which is really nice. But that's not what we're going to do. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4 on the take, and move that right there. And unfortunately, bye-bye. Gonna have to make do with what comes out. So as you can see, nothing that really helps me. I was hoping to get something small, but I didn't get it. So let's go ahead and pivot. I like this. I also like this. These two together make a good combination, plus they're 2 more boosted cards. So let's call it, we are gonna make that an early spell. So then we're gonna go 1, 2, get rid of these die. Go ahead and score these. That gets me 24 restore, which is not bad. The best you can get off of 2 cards. It's really good to have spare mana. That brings me up to 6. A little bit more acuity. And there's only 4 sigils. I have 1 of each sigil, so that's not a bad place to be at all. All right, we got another one. A little bit more of a fatty. Gets that 3 acuity. That was never getting done, so I'm not going to miss you. I'm going to see if I can get you and then set myself up to see if I can multiply that out. Or balance it and get more equilibrium. Lots of choices. All right, so what I'm looking for on my 6 dice are fire. Come on, fire. That's a little bit of fire. I could work with that. No mountains, though. I'm going to have to see what I can do about that. All right, so we're not going to overthink this too much. I also get the 1 mana discount, so let's go ahead and play that. We got 2 fire and only 3 mana as opposed to the 4. Don't have anything I'm happy with playing with right now, so let's go ahead and hold off a turn. So I cannot, unfortunately, delay the discarding of a card, so the refill happens first, and then as a second step, that card gets obliterated, and you move everything back down. So I had in mind that I was going to pair that giant card over there with this multiplier again, but you see, I have no mountains, and it would take me a long time to convert into mountains, and I don't even know if that plays out, especially when I have these 3 cards sitting over here. I'm tilted towards scoring more off of smaller cards, and my dice line up. So let's go ahead and pivot strat and pick up some of these cards. Don't know if I pointed this out yet on camera. I do have a Hail Mary option. I can play one of these cards, re-roll 2. Hopefully I get some mountains. Don't think we're going to do that. So instead, we are going to take one of our cards and play it for the flip power. We'll flip this to a mountain, and that'll eventually be dedicated here. But instead, I will take this card for 2 and begin anew. Say goodbye, chunky fire card. All right, so I can slow down a turn and get myself a few more cards to play with. These cards are very similar. So just to explanation's sake, I can turn straight up any of these symbols or 2 of them into voids, and then use another card to turn voids into something good. And this is an and. So the sideways, the diagonal slashes are the or, this is the and then get more acuity having that symbol. This one is if I have that many floating around, I can do that many, turn any dice into a void symbol, then I'll do that conversion and also get some more acuity after that. So let's go ahead and take this card. I'm just going to take it. I'm not going to play it at all. Reason I'm not going to play this one is because I don't want to change anything. In order to get this benefit, you got to do the whole card. That's for all those munchkins who think they could just fill up on acuity without doing this other stuff. Too bad for y'all. Instead, let's go ahead and just discard that for 1 more acuity. And these are the 2 cards that are going away. I am running low on alteration cards. That is by design. All right, time to take advantage of some discounts. So we have 1 acuity and 1 mana along with this mountain, which will get me this converter. So when I take this card next turn, which you know is happening, I can convert that into the right element and get the maximum benefit. And of course, this makes me sad. I am going to have to discard that multiplier card, but you know I was shifting strat. So finally, let's take this. We're going to enjoy the discount. I'm out of regular mana, but I have the acuity, 2 left, and that gives me a 4 spell row, which you know I like. In addition, I got this artifact card, which is going to get me 4 acuity right back, which brings me to 6. So another fire card wasted. Good thing I got that 1 over there. And now we are setting up for a number of smaller cards that are coming in. So hopefully by next turn, I will be prepared to scoop stuff up. So this is not that impressive a haul, I gotta say, but I'm doing the best that I can. So this restore gets turned into ruin. So that's 7 ruin. This is 4, so that's 11 plus 8 is 19. 19 is not as impressive as it could have been. I did better off with 2 cards. But at least I get points for the number of spells that I cast. Another consolation prize, water, earth, and lightning, gets me this second tile right there. Wasn't even really going for it, but you have to pay attention to the whole board. And now I'm going to get extra points depending on the water spells that I'm able to complete. So let's look out for those. Now, I am 1 away, so I have 19 and 1 away from getting this, which 12 points is a lot more than 5. I'll tell you that right now. But the acuity, that's a poor trade right there. So let's just go ahead and grab a die while the grabbing them is good. So 11 minus 19 is 8. So that is 3, 6. So in addition to getting that card, I'm able to get 2 more prestige. So it wasn't as bad as I thought it could be. Let's see what else comes out, if it is worth it. Right in the middle, man. I could have used something like that. Look at that, 2 symbols. Oh, where were you a turn ago? Boo! Let's get rid of these cards right there. Keep things moving. That is the layout right now. Lots of lightning, so hopefully I roll a bunch of that next turn. And I only have 3 alterations left, so you know I'm getting to at least the mid-game and maybe 10 plus spell cards over here. We'll see what happens. All right, so I'm feeling not too terrible about the state of my board. I got 7 dice to work with. Let's see what I get. I got 1 lightning. Work with that. All right, so first things first, I see a promising skill alteration out there, so I'm going to go ahead and draft that and play it. Just so y'all know, I got 4 alterations. It's a 10-card hand limit. And you don't want to spend a whole bunch of time taking those because that's times where you're not taking spells, which you see how important that is. Having 4 is okay. I may grab 1, maybe 2 more for the rest of the game. Anyway, so I got that one. I got fire. I can convert 1 plus however many sigils I have. I got the 1 purple sigil, nothing on over here. So I do that twice. We got 1, 2, lots more lightning. That was a draw and a play, so we move on those down the river. All right, so this is a fairly thinky game, surprisingly so. So I took a while off camera to set this move up, so let's see if it works out. All right, so we are going to draft that. We have the lightning for it, and we are going to use some acuity over here. So that is a 1 mana discount full. So that's 2 acuity and 2 mana. That pays for that card. So now I'm going to play this card. We're going to turn this water into void. I only have 1, so that is okay. Where is that void symbol? There you go. And since I did the top, now I can do the bottom. I can take 4 acuity crystals. 2 plus the number of sigils I have, which is 2. So that is 4 total. That fills me up on acuity. That actually makes me very happy. At this point, I don't really care about the alterations. I care about the spells. Wasn't going for fire, but these cards are sliding down into range. I was interested in the lightning. I'll show you that in a little bit. We've now reached the point over here where we don't have any more alteration cards. Like I said, I don't think I'm going to get too many more of those. And we also have this interesting converter. Wow, take whatever ruin you make and then make that much restore times 2. Oh, maybe next time. For my next trick, let's go ahead and take the starter card and discard 5 whole acuity. So that is 1 for the payment, and then 4 to turn all 4 of these into lightning. You don't need to see me manipulating dice. We're going to smash cut that one. All right, so let's go ahead and take 1 mana crystal and the 1 acuity, which is the discount, and 1 of my many, many lightning, beginning my spell empire once again. This is the card that's going to get discarded. I was really looking at that, but a little bit of a pivot happened. You'll see in a second. So we are going to play a card. Now that we are at the lightning, we're going to use the turn die round and round and turn that into a mountain. And let's go ahead and spend these 2 along with this 2 mana and make my 3rd spell in the row. Now, I was thinking about this one, but that's where you pay attention to the river. Looks like I'm going to go after that one instead. Never mind that, miscalculated. I'm going to use the die after all. I needed it because in order to pay for this one, I have to use right there. And then I have these 2 for that. I have 1 and then 1. Barely eking it out. But you guys know what happens when I get 4 spells, 4 more acuity tokens. That artifact alteration is an MVP. This water spell gets discarded, which makes me sad because I get bonus points, but you can't do everything. And we are slowly running out of alterations. We only have 3 left. Look at that sweetness right here. So let's go ahead and discard the acuity. Yes, I'm going to film this one because spell casting is always very exciting. So we are going to take off this 6 mana crystals. Bam. And remove all of these dice. We have that much in restore, which is 4 times 4, which is 16. That's great. But this is where the kicker happens. So we have 2 times 4, which is 8. 1 times 4, which is 4. So we have 12. And then this little jammy says I get to convert that into 24 restore. 24 plus 16 is 40, which lets me take the best card in the field right now. I think this is the most costly card in the game, actually. So that is added to my little area. And for my troubles, I also get 2 prestige tokens. Holy Toledo! You have no idea, people, how much I stared at the tableau, edited all that out for you. All right, so let's go ahead and get a new one out there, a piddly one. I mean, after that, everything else is just going to be like topping off. That one felt super good. I get all my cards back. Unfortunately, I lose the water, but I gain the world. On to the next section. As you can see, feeling pretty plush, pretty good. Got my 4 hero cards going. 5 is usually pretty good. Maybe I could eke a 6th out of this one. Not too many gold cards left, but that is the nature of the game. Let's go ahead and let the dice determine my strat. Once again, had to cut out a lot of editing time. 3 minutes, I counted this time. All right, first of all, let's go ahead and take this fire, play this card, and turn it into a mountain. I only got one, so let's just go ahead and do that. That's for this card, but right now I have what I need for this one. So we got 2 mana right there, a mana and an acuity crystal with the discount. 1 down, a few more to go. And we're saying bye-bye to this one, and we only have 1 alteration card left, which I am not taking. Second step, we got those 2 mountains over there, and we have the 1 mana discount to be able to take this one right here. Let's put those back for us. Gonna hold back on playing a card for now. I have ways to get more plays, which I have not demonstrated, which I haven't needed to. I don't think so anyway. So we're just gonna go ahead and pass turn, discard that, and discard our final alteration card, so you're not gonna see any more for the rest of the game. So there is only 1 card left in the game, so this is likely the last spell that I'm gonna cast. And I got these 2 that I am looking at. I need water, I need a restore, so let's go for it. So first of all, the MVP card, let's go ahead and spend 3 total. 1 to pay the cost of the card, and 2 to change these into water. We have the 1 acuity discount over here, so let's go ahead and spend 3 acuity and a water to go ahead and get this and add that to the row as well, which discards this from the game. Now, I could wait for the discount, but I don't think I need to. So let's just go ahead and pay to get this 10 out there and add that to my row. Kablamo! And you know the deal. 4 more acuity for the good guys. Man, what a card. So I got the ×2 going over here. You would think I would just multiply that, make 20. No. Let's go ahead and multiply this because I am boosted. We have 3 × 4 is 12, and combine that is 24. 34, 39, which is enough to get me this most expensive card and all the mana. Another 15 points for the good guys and 7 left over. The change is 1. That spell gets discarded. I only have 2 turns left because of the mathematics of the game. The only spell that I can capture is this. Let's see if I can actually capture it. I mean, I can. I just need to roll 1 fire. There's the 1 fire. So I'm able to, I'm not just going to fast forward that a little bit. I capture this card, or I take the card, I cast it, and then I get another 1 victory point out of that. So here is the schmoz that is my character at the end. 73 points total. Got some points off the cards. That's going to be where you get most of them. The layout over here did pretty good with the having the number of spells. It didn't do so good with the water because that emerged later. And then the prestige rounds everything out. So I exceeded the pauper threshold of 60, but the expert threshold is 90. So as well as I thought I did, I clearly have some room to develop with my strat. In addition, for those looking for replayability, there is a solo play achievement system. I believe I got 2 of them. I think I got Lightbringer for the 48-point restore and the Deathbringer for the 36 ruin. I think I got both of those. Don't know if I got all these other ones. There is a lot here to explore. I hope you enjoyed this playthrough of Mercurial, and it gave you enough of a sense of the game to see if it is worth your gaming time and gaming dollar. This is Jason with the One Stop Co-op Shop. Reminding you that we'll see you at the next stop.